Okay, it's going to be a really short recap. Most of you have seen this documentation before. This is the motion. It was set before the Honorable Judge Burnside, signed by Judge Burnside and Judge Hutchison by Pat Lamb with the prosecutor's office. They gave us no time to discuss the case, no time to try to counter the motion. They just kind of pushed it on through the back door. So questions have to be asked. Why was that? Well, let's get into something here. This here, again, Judge Hutchison, his involvement, this is one of the things I found to be biased about him. State of West Virginia versus Ron Collins Jr., that's me too. I was originally found guilty in magistrate court of 2 counts of contributing to delinquency of a minor and 1 count of battery on a police officer. Battery on a police officer came from me beating the crap out of Greg Duckworth in magistrate court. It literally took the old sheriff, the sheriff before Tanner, a Beckley police officer, and another deputy threatening to mace me to get me off of him. And then it was dismissed down to 1 count of contributing to delinquency of a minor, which I was found guilty of again, and then there it says not guilty, see, big words right here, not guilty, of 1 count of contributing to delinquency of a minor. And this is like really important because of Hutchison's involvement, but we're just going to keep playing on here a little bit. Now, I want to show you something. Oh, well, wait, wrong document. That's the Worldwide Dojo document I did. I'll go ahead and show this anyways. This was an article I put up. It was based on reality-based martial arts information, Worldwide Dojo. This fell under the security and law enforcement section. It's been since taken down. What it comes down to is you would actually have my name right here where my thumb's at, but it's not there anymore. So I apologize for the screenshots. There's a picture of me and a picture of Dennis Stamos from Facebook. And, oh yeah, here's my lovely little picture at the bottom with my name and everything else. Same article. You can verify it by seeing the 52 blocks thing and then 52 blocks and the 52 blocks right here. So you can tell it's all my little work on prison-based martial arts and gang indoctrination. Bear with me again. Now, this is the original criminal complaint from Ashley Redden, and it's really important because we're going to get into a few things. First thing we're going to get into is my post office box is P.O. Box 597, MacArthur, West Virginia. I am from MacArthur. This is the very first warrant I ever had on me ever in my life. Here we see the victim, Leah Dawn Kirk. This is really interesting. Okay, they say approximately 2030, which would be 8:30. And then there's a whole list of stuff on here. See, October 12th, there's mention of me bringing alcohol and pills, putting pills in a drink. So I should have been charged with something other than contributing to the delinquency of a minor. I think we can all agree with that based on what we have here. But the thing about this was they only charged me for Leah Kirk, but they didn't want to charge me for Ashley and wanted to give me some plea bargain to 6 months of probation for Leah, but then left it open with Ashley. Bear in mind, my post office box is P.O. Box 597, MacArthur. Now, as horrible as that sounds, and I know it does sound horrible, let me point something out. Here's the second search warrant, this one for Ashley Redden. See, P.O. Box 597, MacArthur. So, she's had it. We have a date on this one. I do believe on the following page, this was done at 4:20, that's right, 4/20/06, April 20th, 2006. And now this was this statement was used on 3 separate warrants, same one each time around, which is this one up here talking about the whole incident, and this time where it was Ashley Redden's house on Scott Ridge Road. It says friend's house, Leah Kirk, on Scott Ridge Road, but the original down here says the home of Ashley Redden on Scott Ridge Road. So he doesn't get that right. Then he says October 12th here, and let me find it. Yeah, November 12th here, up here in this little top part. You can see November 12th right there. Now, then you have this other one for stalking and harassing phone calls, and this one down here for our friend, our good imaginary friend Mike Yancek, who is an agent with the FBI assigned to the Beckley office. From my understanding, this agent does not exist. He has never existed. His real name is Agent Michael Hayden. Duckworth was really meticulous to point out, wanted to file a complaint against the undersigned officer. It's the abbreviation UO right here. Became very upset when the information obtained was not in his favor, at which time he advised Agent Yancek that he was going to kill the undersigned officer. Actually, I threatened to kill everything in Beckley with a badge when Agent Hayden threatened my family. But hey, that's okay. Now, it gets really interesting, too, because, see, the whole incident on Scott Ridge Road was a contributing charge. But according to this, it should have been something more than contributing. And see, here's this thing about a red pill. Well, gee, that does truly sound almost like rape. I mean, like a day rape drug or something. And then we have this right here with the stalking charge, which was dismissed. The stalking and harassing phone call charge, which was dismissed. Then we have this right here, the FBI agent that was dismissed because the FBI agent doesn't exist. Then we get into the previous case down here where she's talking about attempted to rape her and was convicted of contributing to delinquency of a minor. Now, as horrible as all of that sounds, and I realize it truly sounds horrible, you have to look. 2 counts of delinquency to a minor, and 1 count of battery on a police officer. Battery on a police officer came from me kicking the crap out of Greg Duckworth in magistrate court. That was when I went to my preliminary hearing, and my court-appointed attorney, Gary Wayne Frazier, tried to convince me for 45 minutes, argued with me for an hour and 45 minutes to take the plea agreement when I wasn't going to take a plea agreement to something I didn't do. Then that was when Greg Duckworth came into the room and said, is he going to do the thing? If not, we'll do the other thing and press the additional charges. When I asked my attorney what additional charges, he said ask the cop. When I asked the cop the additional charges, Duckworth told me to ask my attorney. When I told Duckworth to leave, he just smiled at me. So I stood up and told him he wasn't going to leave, I was going to leave. My intent was to get the magistrate to remove Trooper Duckworth, and then next thing I know, he pushes me into a chair, grabs his gun, puts his hand on my throat, says, now listen here, and I beat the holy fuck out of him. And again, the really interesting about that was me and another Beckley police officer ended up joking about this later on that same night when I was going to get beer. Now, interesting enough, but side story. Now we come into this, not guilty of 1 count of contributing to delinquency of a minor. So, for as horrible as that sounds, it sounds like I got off easy by being charged with contributing to delinquency of a minor. You have to ask, why didn't they charge me with something more, and why did I get off on one of these counts? Now, this was the case in which, on the appeal, where Ashley Redden said that her mother, Trooper Duckworth, who is a relative of her father's side of the family, and the assistant prosecutor, Krissa Coonrod, had coerced her, her exact words were, made her give false testimony. So that becomes an interesting little thing. And again, this is in front of Hutchison. See, here's little Miss Coonrod's Bar Association number and her signature. So you can imagine what's going on. Now, somebody explain this to me, because you've already seen the previous ones. Even currently, it's P.O. Box 597, MacArthur, West Virginia. The MacArthur Post Office is directly across the 4-lane from the Walmart. And here we have that Ashley says that she was at work at Walmart and that this occurred in MacArthur, Raleigh County, West Virginia. So why would she be in Walmart? Oh, I should get something else out of the way. This is a screenshot of Ashley Redden's Facebook. I got this from none other than Jessica Lilly when she was trying to set me up and trying to show she was all good in with me. And it says from Grandview, West Virginia. Grandview's, you know, like 25, 30 miles away from MacArthur. So what the hell is she doing in the hometown of the guy that she says apparently tried to rape her? She says it right here. She also says that I came into Walmart at least 3 times last week staring at her. Gee, really? You mean I came into Walmart on 3 different dates last week and saw her at Walmart, across from where I get my mail, in MacArthur, where it's a lot easier to cross the street after I get my mail and to do some shopping in Walmart, but yet she's somehow, I don't know, frightened. I'm stalking her for being in my hometown. That's really awesome, because she should keep her ass in Grandview, you would think. But no, it gets okay, because, see, no one wants to give us that transcript, but here's the physical evidence that shows there's a reason for that transcript. Because she said what I'm saying she said, I know she did, and if we can get the transcript, we can prove it, which calls into question the actions of the prosecutor's office dealing with that second search warrant from Trooper Efred. But hey, now, what we come into here is, here we have, she's from Grandview. Now, it gets really interesting, because here's this, at the time this was done, I don't have the information that I would have on my computer where the image was saved from the screenshot, but here is Quality Inn. Now, Quality Inn is on Harper Road. She found out I was living in Harper Heights, and so she gets a job on Harper Road. Literally, I kid you not, literally less than a mile from where I was staying, she gets a job. And no less at the hotel, which is attached to Morgan's, where one of my best friends in the whole world, I mean, I would really take a bullet for this guy. His stepmother is the head bartender at Morgan's, so she gets a job right next to it, and you're going to tell me that I'm stalking her. Sorry. Now, then we come over here to old Gregory Duckworth. Yeah, that's him trying to match his appearance to Clint Eastwood. In fact, this picture in the paper was actually taken in his office, I believe. And he says over here that Clint Eastwood was one of his personal heroes. And then he mentions, you know, he became a state trooper after his brother's murder. And then there's that whole thing with Taylor Made. And it gets really interesting because, here's really cool. Here we go talking about his family, okay? And you get down here, where's it at? I know her name is in here. I have to find it. Oh God, let me see. Where is it at? There's his, here it is. Here's his sister's name, Wendy Williams. She is, in fact, married to Trooper Williams, which is his partner. Now, there's a certain thing that has to be asked here about why someone is trying to stand there and look way off into the distance as if they're Clint Eastwood in some movie as a lawman, but hey, whatever, right? Now, this gets really interesting because, you know, we get down here about him talking about how his brother got killed, his brother was murdered, and a sloppy police investigation is the reason why, you know, the guy got a not guilty plea. Of course, it could have been because his brother was a drug addict. He's said that before, so I'm not being anything derogative. It was him who said that his brother was a drug addict. It was in a different paper, magazine, as a matter of fact. And then there's even more of this brought up here, talking about his whole little thing. His wife's name is Rhonda. He has a daughter by the name of Brianna. His heroes were his grandfather and Earl Peters. I have no idea who that. That was his grandfather. And Clint Eastwood. And then we get into the fact that he lives in Beaver. Now that's really important because he actually lives on Brianna Lane in Beaver, which is right across from Little Beaver State Park, and is approximately 2.8 miles from Table Rock Road. Not only is it 2.8 miles from Table Rock Road, it is less than, let's say 3.5 miles. In fact, from Nelson Redden Road, which is where actually Redden lives. And you can take Nelson Redden Road and come onto the backside of nothing other than Scott Ridge Road, which takes you right to the Kirks. So not only being personally associated with them and having family connections, he lives less than 3 miles from them, has attended their church on a few occasions, and is actually a personal friend of the family. And here he is, you know, pretending to be this stand-up good lawman and trying to look like Clint Eastwood. So the question is, come on, punk, do you feel lucky? Now, the reality behind all this isn't so much the whole little, come on, punk, do you feel lucky comment, because, yeah, I was going for Clint Eastwood. The thing about it is, one of my heroes was always Doc Holliday. Not the actors who played him, but the actual man himself. So, Greg, I'll be your Huckleberry. In fact, I think we could make a great deal of money, and I can kick your ass again, and we could do this for a benefit, you know. We'll have a rematch in a cage sometime if you want. Here's what it comes down to. See, you can tell that from the previous paperwork that I was doing something with my life. I was trying to create a career out of the martial arts. I was even taking the bad shit that happened to me with legal troubles and was using that and those experiences as a way to kind of get somewhere. And then you guys go and attack my business associates, people, you know, falsifying charges on me and everything else. Why? Because you need to make me into being this big bad boogeyman. You exaggerate the charges, make up things about drugs being brought in and alcohols when sloppy police work didn't even recover any alcohol nor any drugs. It was just my word against 2 teenage girls, and the fact of the matter that their families were pimping them out at 13 years old, and I was trying to help Ashley, you know, get out of a life of domestic violence and get away from her parents trying to pimp her out, and here you are trying to protect, you know, them for that. You know, you get up here and talk about how your brother's murderer got away because of sloppy police work, but you can't even get dates straight. You don't even know who lives on what road, and these are your personal friends and associates. See, the reality behind all this, the falsifying FBI agents and all this bullshit is you're trying to make me into being the boogeyman, the guy out there who's scum of the earth. That's fine. But you're creating a paper trail at the same time that doesn't quite add up. And no matter what you say or do, you're not going to be able to change this paper. Because this paper is an official court document, and this paper also mentioning that whole issue of being found guilty of, you know, contributing to the delinquency of a minor and battery on a police officer when I kicked the living shit out of you. It's got Hutchison's name right here on it, and little Krissa N. Coonrod, and it's right here with the stamp of Paul H. Flanagan from the Circuit Court of Raleigh County, right here. See, so it's there, and the evidence that goes back to the fact that we have this whole little issue of Ashley saying that you and her mother and Krissa coerced Ashley into giving false testimony causes some problems. Your association with Trooper Palmatier, especially it being mentioned in the Teresa Bowling's murder during the trial, causes an issue. The fact that a Deputy Lilly was brought into it, and then here is, you know, Daryl James Lilly, former president of the Avengers, married to none other than Michelle Jennings, the daughter of Mary Jennings. And there was that whole motion by the prosecutor, not Krissa. What was the other one? No, not Leftwich. Leftwich was the guy who shot. Well, I'll have to look it up. But there was a whole issue of the prosecutor wanting to put in a motion to have it transferred to Mary Jennings, who was a close personal friend of the family, and you all know each other, and there's associations. There's enough evidence right here that when we get into the fact that Ashley Redden's text messages mention New Year's, but they only start on June 26th, which means there's 26 days of missing evidence in that. And then you're going back trying to bring up things that were already dismissed and found not guilty, and trying to make them seem pertinent and guilty. In the other trial over here with Trooper Mueller, it raises questions. And it says right here in writing that you're a sergeant at the Beckley Detachment, that you're a sergeant in charge of the Beckley Detachment, which means anyone coming out of that office, which is a state trooper, is under your command and might very well possibly be committing crimes at your orders. See, I'm putting all this information out here not because I'm worried about trying to draw your name into things or anything else, but because I want to create enough of a publicly addressed evidence that if anything happens to me, we have something to go on. There's other people who are going to step up, and there's other people who can use this evidence because it's been released to the public to maybe help in their court cases. See, the fact of the matter is, I understand Christine Keller not wanting to drop the charges, because if we go into that and me wanting to press charges against you guys for kidnapping and everything else, it means she's going to have to reopen every single case that you've ever processed, ever dealt with in all these years. But at the same time, if she doesn't, then she becomes guilty of being an accessory to the very act of kidnapping and falsification of evidence carried out under color of law. And, well, that's not going to be what you want to see, is it?